Hi, my name is Carlos Rivera, and today I'm going to be discussing one of my favorite directors, Stanley Kubrick. A lot of people consider him the greatest director of all time. With a career like his, anyone can see why, really. But I personally know a lot of people that just blindly credit him with that title because he's popular and his movies are controversial. However, if you look into his films and actively study them, you'll notice that there's one thing in common. Kubrick employs all factors of cinema to aid and complement the visual storytelling in his movies. Even though I haven't seen it, this scene from Barry Lyndon is a perfect example of my argument. Barry is seen here playing a game of cards against a woman and a man. We first get two establishing shots, then Kubrick moves to show us a series of reactions from the woman. First, she looks over at Barry. Then she moves her eyes around the room nervously before they land on the other man's, but they quickly lose interest in each other, and the woman looks back at Barry. Kubrick then cuts to Barry looking at the woman, which he hasn't shown us before. The viewer can now inference that the relationship is neutral and at a state of initial attraction. We see the same thing happening 3 times with a few differentiations before this happens.
Samuel, I'm going outside for a breath of air.
Yes, lady, of course.
Kubrick then cuts back to Barry, where through his facial expression, we can tell that he's gotten the girl. It's probably some of the most subtle filmmaking ever, but it works perfectly for the craft. Let's take another segment, this time from my favorite Kubrick movie, 2001: A Space Odyssey. The first 14 minutes or so of this movie are essentially a foreign language film with no subtitles. Using camera techniques, extras dressed as apes, and studio sets, can Kubrick craft a visual story. The first 4 minutes of the Dawn of Man sequence are essentially exposition shots. Then, Kubrick foreshadows a dominant species taking over a recessive one via the cheetah killing one of the apes. Soon after, a tribe of apes takes over the water hole another tribe had control over, causing the latter tribe to run away and then go to sleep for that night. They wake up and find the monolith, which grants them the power of weaponry and tools, allowing that tribe to take over the water hole again, and over the course of 1,000,000 years, we can inference that that tribe evolved into humans. Yeah, that's visual storytelling on an epic scale. And as a slap to the face to every other director, Kubrick has also proved that he can do this even with scripts that aren't his own. This scene from Spartacus, written by Dalton Trumbo, has the titular hero liberate slaves for his rebellion against Rome, when he recognizes Varinia, a slave he once knew, among those newly liberated. While there is dialogue in this scene, it doesn't drive the storytelling. That's all given by the facial expressions of the actors, which include surprise, insight, sadness, comfort, and happiness.
You couldn't catch up with it.
You realize nobody can ever sell you again.
Of course, credit has to be given to the actors for their actions and to Trumbo for writing a screenplay that doesn't limit the director, but Kubrick yet again shows us what filmmaking is truly about. These are just 3 of many examples of Kubrick's use of what's on the screen to drive the story. He never completely allows for audio to take over and drive the film, because as Robert Altman once said,
"That's the reason for film. Otherwise, we should just turn the light out and call it radio."
let's take the same type of scene we used from Barry Lyndon and put it in the hands of another director and writer, Judd Apatow and Amy Schumer with their movie Trainwreck. It's the same type of scene, a guy trying to get a girl, but in different circumstances and very differently executed. If you turn off the audio for the scene, you can't really tell what's going on, which isn't at all the point of filmmaking. Again, audio should be complementary to vision when it comes to movies.
No, I'm saying, I'm confused. Am I not communicating this right?
Throughout his career, Kubrick managed to exceed expectations in the cinematic field through visual storytelling.
Full metal jacket.
That's why he's considered one of the greatest directors of all time. Not because he's so popular or because his movies were so polarizing, but because when he got behind the camera, he knew what he was doing and constantly wondered how it would look. So next time you're crafting a scene, try to take out all the unnecessary dialogue. Position the camera shots perfectly. Complement your vision.
Again, don't know where, don't know where